We're legitimately one day away from me delivering the 5-figure signature program launch method masterclass, taking you behind the scenes of my signature program launches and what I've only been teaching my private clients and my strategic mastermind clients. And I'm super excited. I'm super excited to be delivering this masterclass to many of you tomorrow, instead of just doing it one-to-one in my private space or in my mastermind. There is a one-to-many, but I also have private chats included in my mastermind and private calls, because I think that's such an important aspect. But the reason why I'm sharing that with you is because I want to have a bigger conversation with you around going from serving one-to-one to one-to-many, not just from a product scaling based approach, but also throughout your launch and lead generation process. Because there comes a point in business, there comes a point in your journey of scaling where literally doing things one-to-one is no longer going to be a viable or feasible option unless you hire out or you work far more than 40 plus hours a week. Okay, so if you are serving one-to-one and your lead generation process and your launch process or the way you market and sell your offers all requires one-to-one effort, you taking an action and speaking to one person at a time, you are going to naturally hit capacity. You're going to get to a place where physically you are unable to do more unless you hire out and or you start to really sacrifice your own well-being. And if you've been on this journey with me, you know that sacrificing your well-being is not going to work. And ultimately, you are likely not going to be able to keep it up, meaning that you're not going to be able to continue to deliver your programs and services in a way that holds a certain standard and gives an excellent client experience, which is key for long-term sustainable success. But on top of that, literally, you are going to burn yourself out. And or again, you're going to have to invest in team members, which eventually to scale, you're going to have to do anyways, but automation can go a long way. But there is another strategy and another approach we can take. Now, last week on my IG Biz Riff, which happens every Thursday at 1:15 Cancun time, I'm saying Cancun time right now because legitimately the time change stuff is a bit wild. I spoke about a product-based approach to scaling, and one-to-one to one-to-many is one of them. But I'm going to tie in an extra piece today, not just on the product scaling-based approach, but really how this is beneficial for your lead generation and through your launch process, which I'm going to be diving deep into tomorrow. And you still have an opportunity to join us live, and or you'll be able to purchase the masterclass even if you can't join live. And you'll be able to have lifetime access. And there's a VIP option available where you also get a mastermind call. And in the VIP option, you also get access to my full signature launch program and the Irresistible Offer Masterclass for $777. And it is like a $1,400 value, which is crazy. So you can hop in at $777 at VIP, or you can join at $55 for the masterclass, and you're still going to get some bonuses, and you're going to get to come live, and you get lifetime access. It's really a no-brainer, and I dive into the whole thing. But I'm regressing right now, so let's get back on topic. So here's the thing. Most of us as service-based entrepreneurs or as coaches, we do a lot of our services one-to-one. And a lot of the times our high-ticket programs, so one-to-one coaching programs or done-for-you service programs, are often the ones that we feel comfortable giving. That's one. We can charge a premium price for it. And oftentimes, personally, we attach more value to the private one-to-one than we do to, for example, masterminds or group programs, which, by the way, is not how I see it, but oftentimes this is what we do. And I personally had to work through that myself. But with that, there's only going to be so many of these that we can do. So yes, you can adjust your pricing and you can create a high ticket offer, a high value offer that is at a premium price. And this means you're going to work with fewer clients at a higher price point and you deliver a high quality product and a very high quality result. You can absolutely do that. And I believe when it comes to scaling, we want to do a little bit of both. We want to work on really getting our prices up, becoming more of a high-end premium product because we can back it with incredible results that we're getting for our clients. But also we want to start thinking about how can I ultimately have the same level of output, like the amount of effort that I have to put in to create more of a result and to scale remains the same, while the level of input, while what we're getting back in return of it increases. So we really want to make sure that our effort remains the same, or maybe eventually even goes down by us adding team members, by us bringing in automation, by us having more complex funnels, which become important as you scale from 6 to multi-6 and then 7 figures and beyond. But ultimately, we got to make sure that we don't end up doing more and more in order to earn more, because again, we will hit capacity. So this is where we really want to start thinking about diversifying what we're doing and starting to think about how can I not just serve one person at a time, but many. So going from one to one to one to many will require us to look at what can I do to offer a type of service or a program that allows me to either do things with people, which is something that I do in my strategic mastermind, where in my one-to-one program, there's a huge component of me doing work for clients, strategizing, creating business models, creating custom launch plans, reviewing copy, writing some of the copy, really looking, refining, building, like mapping out somebody's entire business, like revamping it. It's a huge amount of work. And then we spend time implementing and integrating it together. And I'm there to support them, but the plan is there, the plan is made. Whereas in my strategic mastermind, I do it with them. Which means that if somebody needs to learn to launch, I have them watch my program that teaches you how to launch. And then I provide custom support, one-to-one guidance on top of that through the mastermind, through the voice messaging that they get, or I answer questions inside a mastermind where multiple people are there at the same time. So my output for what I need to do in order to be able to ultimately scale my business there by having a place like the strategic mastermind allows me to earn more money, to increase my revenue, to increase sales, while ultimately it reduces the time I spend because I'm going from one to one to one to many, and I'm going from done for you to done with you. So this is one way that we can doing it with people will allow us to serve more people. But really inside the coaching, or if you have a service, that is something that you can do that's quite powerful. So another thing that we can do and that we can look at is how can we serve multiple clients at once? How can we really think about what we're doing and maybe go more into the teaching realm, into the coaching realm if you offer a certain service? For example, maybe you're a copywriter, a graphic designer, maybe you do social media management. There's a way that we can use our skills and now sort of transform what we're doing to actually teach people how to do something. So that's another way how we can go from one-to-one private high-end services, done for you services, to actually going from one to one to one to many. So a couple of different ways we can do that. But again, ultimately what we want to do, we want to be able to look at our programs and services and say, hey, how can I streamline this in a way that would allow me to serve more than one person at the same time? Okay, so one to one to one to many. And for some of you, it might be like, oh my God, how am I going to do that? What do I need to do? Like, do I have the skills? All of that. You all have the skills. you all have the skills. You may not have the strategic way of looking at it. And, this is a reason why clients hire me, because they get to a point where that capacity, they can't do more one-to-one, but they're not sure, how can I actually change my business model to make it more scalable? How can I serve more people with what I'm offering? And this is where I really put my CEO hat on for you, my creator hat on for you, and start looking at, well, how can you do that? But the thing is, again, we really want to think about how can we reach more people and then have more people coming in. So another way in which you can reduce or change how you're working one-to-one to one-to-many is actually through your lead generation process. So again, we want to be able to maybe serve more clients or get more clients coming through the door. So even if you're not planning on serving more clients through your private programs or services, but you ultimately are looking to reach more ideal clients to come in. So you're reducing the time that you spend on sales calls. So you're reducing the time you spend on prospecting. So you're reducing the time you spend on getting clients through the door, and you don't want to hire somebody to do that. Another way we can do that is by creating really strong lead generation offers. Lead generation offers. Again, in tomorrow's masterclass, I'm going to be diving into this a little bit more. And what I want you to understand is that a lead generation offer doesn't necessarily have to be a masterclass. A masterclass or a workshop or a webinar, whatever you want to call it, is one way in which we can actually do that by solving one specific problem for people. But there is also multiple different ways that you can do that. Some would be for what you're considered freebies. There is different ways of offering audits. Again, I'm going to give you tons more ideas of what that can look like tomorrow. But then from there, we want a really strong process. So the idea would be that what that lead generation offer is something that we can market and deliver to multiple people at the same time. And it then funnels ultimately and pushes out the people that are not ideal and leaves us with a more qualified list of people that said, yes, I'm interested in what you have to say. Yes, I would like to work with you. Yes, this really lands. Yes, how can I take this to the next level? We really want to be able to curate that experience and to deliver that experience and to put that amount of strategic intention behind it. So there is really a logical thing to do for that client, and that is to say, yes, I want to take another step. And so what ends up happening, the effort that is required to then do that and to then build a relationship that leads to them becoming a client is reduced, because you're now talking to a more qualified person, and that can reduce the time you spend for lead generation actually quite substantially. So going from one-to-one to one-to-many doesn't always need to be in relation to just your products and programs. And again, if you're going to last week's business riff, I am diving into this in depth. What is a product-based scaling approach? But I wanted to add this extra piece here because I think a lot of the times we don't actually think about that. And there are so many ways in which we're able to talk to more people at the same time and to get them to take another step and to really start to understand, in order for me to get what I do in front of the right people, we want to filter out people. Everybody's always so consumed with, oh my God, more people, and I want more people, and I want more people. And that is brilliant. But talking to more people one-to-one that are not qualified or pre-qualified or an ideal client for you means you're wasting a lot of time and effort talking to the wrong person. So by also bringing the same attitude, the same approach, the same type of thinking from your just product-based scaling approach into your lead generation approach and lead generation strategy is huge, because that will open up capacity, that will open up time. And by the time you end up having a call with somebody, if you want to do sales calls, by the time you are starting conversations with people in DMs, they are already at a very different level. They are already a hotter audience. They're already an audience that is more likely to buy from you, which means that the effort required to quote unquote convert them is very, very different. So think about this. think about this. Right now, is your lead generation process reliant on you? Meaning, are you the one that has one-to-one conversations with everyone? Is your process right now through networking and then networking with more people and more people and more people and more people? Is your process right now really dependent on you having one-to-one conversations to be ultimately able to lead to conversations with ideal clients? And if that's the case, I really want you to think about, what could I bring in? What could I do? Whether that is a free offer, an audit, a masterclass, something different that would allow you to offer something to multiple people that starts to reduce the people that are coming in, gets people behind the scenes deeper into your business. And from there, you start those conversations. From there, you start to actually do that. And or you can bring more automation in to continuously nurture that relationship, and then get clients to come into your world through that. So the one-to-one-to-one-to-many is a really a 2-layer, maybe even 3-layer approach. We want to look at how can we diversify your product suite, and how can we make sure that we can maximize what you do so you can serve more people and earn more money and grow your business and scale your business, while at the same time keeping your effort the same. And how can we bring the one-to-one-to-one-to-many approach into your lead generation process so that ultimately it reduces the amount of time and effort that's required for you to do lead generation, while making it more potent, more powerful, and higher converting? That is the 2 layers that you want to look at when it comes to scaling and when it comes to taking one-to-one-to-one-to-many. And obviously, this is part of what I do as a strategist. This is what I look at. I understand that this is maybe not the way that you're thinking or the way that you're looking at things. But ultimately, in order to scale and in order to continue to grow and in order to get from that 80,000 to 160,000 a year, or that 90,000 to 250,000 a year, or heck, from 150 to a million, you really are going to have to start to refine on multiple different levels. And we really got to make sure you're able to handle it from a capacity level. And oftentimes, this is what we're not really looking at, or we're getting really stuck on, oh, I want to be able to make that, but I don't really know how I can do that because I'm kind of already maxed on time. I'm already overwhelmed with all of this. Listen up. It takes time, dedication, and effort to build a business. It takes time, dedication, and effort. Doesn't mean it has to feel hard, but work is required. You showing up is required. You doing the things is required. And you are doing the best that you can. So I get it. But in order to scale and grow, we really have to start looking at things differently. You have to get more strategic, because that is the only way that you can really maximize the efforts in what you're already doing. And that's how you end up being able to scale. I'm going to be diving deeper into this tomorrow inside the masterclass, the 5-figure launch method masterclass. Come join us. There's spaces available. If you can't make it live, you have to replay forever. And if you want to have a conversation and take this further, I'm still doing business audits as well. Just DM me at Teresa Lambert Coaching, and I'm happy to help you look at what you're currently doing in your business, where there's maybe bottlenecks, and give you 3 recommendations for free on what I would recommend you look at and do, and what I see to be able to help you scale. So that's an opportunity that's there as well. You can reach out to me to start that process. I would be thrilled to do that for you. And I'm so excited to deliver the masterclass to many of you tomorrow as I continue to diversify the way I do it, the way I deliver my products, on a mission really to help more of you scale to 6 and multi-6 figures. So I'm stoked, I'm excited, and I can't wait to see who's joining me tomorrow and maybe hear from some of you about how this landed. I love you so much. And next week, we'll be back with a juicy episode, and I have an incredible guest I'm so excited about. Rock on, everyone.